Welcome to Know Your Mobile. I'm Basil, this is the ZTE Grand S LTE, this is an HT8X, and we're here to compare the two devices for you. The ZTE Grand S LTE has just been announced today. It packs a teeny weeny tiny 6.9mm thickness, and it also manages to cram in the quad-core processor and a full HD display into the mix, as well as a 13-megapixel rear-facing camera. The HTC 8X, in contrast, packs an 8-megapixel camera, 720p display, however it is 4.3 inches in the display. It's altogether a smaller handset, however is very appealing, and packing Windows Phone 8 might appeal to many people. Kicking off with a design, and both have very, very unique designs. We're not going to lie, the ZTE Grand S LTE does remind us a little bit of the HTC One S. However, with its glossy backing, it's markedly different, or at least this version we have is. If we move across, we can see that it's available in a range of colours, pink for example, and indeed a matte black version. If we look at the HTC 8X, it has a very gorgeous chiclet design. It's very distinguishable from any other phone that we've seen, and we'd say this is a high point of HTC's handset. It isn't the smallest, however, despite having a much smaller display, smaller by 0.7 inches. The device isn't much smaller. Also, the corners make it feel quite intrusive in the hand. We find it quite comfortable, but we've heard reports that it isn't perfect for everybody, so you may want to try it out before you buy it. As far as ports go, moving on to the Grand S, we can see on the right side the volume rocker, a micro SD card slot. Up top is a 3.5mm jack power button, left side is a micro SIM card slot and a docking connector, and a micro USB port down below. While to the reverse is a slight bump where you will find the 13-megapixel camera. On the HTC 8X is a volume rocker, a micro SIM eject tray. On the right below that is a camera button. Left side is no buttons whatsoever, while up top is a 3.5mm headphone jack and a power button. Down below you've got a micro SIM SD, a micro USB port. Sorry about that. A megapixel camera on the back with a LED flash, HTC insignia, and of course Beats audio for that oomph in the sound department. Looking at the screens, both are really gorgeous pin-sharp displays. Until now, the HTC 8X packed amongst the sharpest display out there. However, with a PPI of around 442-443, the ZTE Grand S LTE is on par almost with the Sony Xperia Z. This, with its full HD resolution, is hugely impressive and certainly appeals to us, in contrast to the HTC 8X, which is a little bit lackluster when side by side, especially in terms of clarity. If you're looking at the actual specs inside the devices, you can expect a dual-core processor, that's a Snapdragon S4 Plus inside the HTC 8X. In the ZTE Grand S is a quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Pro. That said, Windows Phone 8 is not particularly processor intensive, so we doubt you'll find any slowdown in this operating system, unlike Android, which is generally a memory hog. That said, with its quad-core processor, it too should be well served on the ZTE Grand S LTE. Moving on to the cameras, and the 8-megapixel camera on the reverse of the HTC 8X isn't the strongest out there. However, it does do a good job. The ZTE Grand S 13-megapixel camera, however, should be considerably more impressive. At least it is on paper. As we all know, though, megapixels aren't everything, so we're going to have to wait until we get this in before we can say anything conclusive about that. With 2 GB of RAM on board the ZTE Grand S LTE and expandable storage, we can definitely say it's an extremely compelling proposition for anyone who wants to choose Android over Windows Phone 8. That said, the HTC 8X is still a design classic, and of course it is a solid performing handset. If you have any questions about these two devices, please feel free to fire us a comment below. Feel free also to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Thanks for watching Know Your Mobile. I've been Basil here at CES 2013.